Hello dear students, welcome back to Biovidyalaya. This is Epistasis part 5 and here we are going to discuss about dominant and recessive interaction, and this is also known as inhibitory gene action. And before going to begin, if you are new to my channel or if you didn't subscribe this channel yet, then please do subscribe and also don't forget to enable the bell icon. So let's start. If you are studying any topic for exams like CSIR NET or other competitive examinations in biology, then try to understand that particular concept and study. Then you can easily answer any indirect question from that particular topic. So try to watch this video till the end so you can easily answer any type of question from this concept. So here we are going to discuss about dominant and recessive interaction. That is also known as inhibitory gene action, and the ratio is 13:3. Okay. So in the case of dominant and recessive interaction, the dominant allele either in homozygous or heterozygous condition of one gene and the homozygous recessive allele of other gene produces the same phenotype. That means the dominant form of one gene and the recessive form of the another gene that will produce the same phenotype in dominant and recessive interaction. If I say the two genes are A and B, okay. So here the dominant form of gene A is capital A or capital A small a, and the recessive form of gene B is small b. So this dominant form of gene A and recessive form of the gene B will produce same phenotype. Okay. That is dominant and recessive interaction. Okay. So the genotype capital A, capital B, capital A, small a, capital B, capital A, small b, capital A, small b, and small a, small b produce one type of phenotype, and the genotype small a, capital B, small a, capital B will produce another type of phenotype in the ratio of 13:3. And this concept will be more clear with an example. An example is chicken feather color. You can take any letters for representing genes. In our all the lecture videos about epistasis, we took A and B as gene. So here also I am taking A and B as genes. And here the dominant form of the gene B, that is responsible for pigment formation, that means the color. And the recessive form of the gene B or the mutant form of gene B, that is not coded for any color or pigment, so white. And the dominant form of the gene A is an inhibitor of the dominant form of the gene B. That's why there is no pigment formation, so white. Okay, so you can see both white and colored chickens, and the pigment produced by capital B allele, that means the dominant form of the gene B, and the dominant form of the gene A or the capital A allele is an inhibitor of feather coloration. If there is no capital A allele or the dominant form of the gene A, then this dominant form of the gene B can express. Okay. So dominant form of the gene B can express only when there is no dominant form of the gene A, and that will resulting in pigment formation. Okay. So these genotypes can express the color. Okay. Here you can see that here both the dominant form of gene A and B are present. So this capital A that will inhibit this capital B. That means the dominant form of the gene A can inhibit the dominant form of gene B. So there is no color formation resulting in white. Okay. Here also this dominant form of the gene A can inhibit dominant form of the gene B. So there is no color formation. So white color chicken. Okay. Here there is no dominant form of gene B. So white. Here also there is no dominant form of gene B. So white. Here also there is no dominant form of gene B. So white. Okay. So here dominant form of gene A can inhibit the expression of dominant form of the gene B. Okay. This is the cross between white colored chicken and this is the F1 hybrid. All the F1 hybrids are white colored chicken. After that, these F1 hybrids are self-crossed. F1 hybrid means capital A, small a, capital B, small b. Okay. So this is the male gametes and these are the female gamete. Okay. And these are the these are the F2 progenies, total 16. Out of this 16, you can see that these 3 are colored. These 3 are colored and the rest of the 13 are white. Okay. So these 13 are white colored chicken and 3 are colored chicken. So the ratio is 13:3. Okay. We know that the allele capital B or the dominant form of the gene P that is responsible for the pigment formation. Okay. And the dominant form of the gene A that will inhibit the expression of the dominant form of the gene B. That's why there is no pigment production. If there is no pigment production means white color. Okay. So this is the normal dihybrid cross ratio 9:3:3:1. If you know this 9:3:3:1 ratio along with this general genotypes, then you can easily answer any type of epistasis question. Okay. See here in this first genotype, both the dominant form of the gene A and B are present. So this dominant form of gene A that will inhibit the expression of this dominant form of the gene B. So there is no pigment production. So white color. Okay. Here in this second genotype you can see that there is no dominant form of the gene B. If there is no dominant form of gene B means there is no pigment production. So white color. Okay. Here in this third genotype you can see that there is no dominant form of the gene A. That means there is no inhibitor. Okay. Here there is no inhibitor. That's why this dominant form of the gene B can express. So there is pigment formation. So colored chicken. Okay. Here in this genotype you can see that there is no dominant form of the gene A and the dominant form of the gene B. If there is no dominant form of gene B means there is no pigment production. So white colored chicken. Okay, so here you can see that this one is white, so 9, this one is white, so 3, this one is also white, so 1. So 9 plus 3 plus 1, 13. 13 white, and here 3 pigmented, 3 colored. So the ratio is 13 is to 3. So the dominant and recessive epistasis ratio is 13 is to 3. Here B allele is responsible for pigmented feathers and small b allele is for white feathers, and dominant form of the gene A that will suppress the pigment producing effect of capital B allele. So here we are getting 13 is to 3 ratio. Okay, I think this is clear for you. If you like this video and find it helpful, then please share this video with your friends and batchmates so they will also get benefit from this. And also don't forget to subscribe this channel and enable the bell icon so you will get notification when I upload new videos. So keep learning. Thank you.